Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Just in case we have somebody watching online, welcome to the work session at our new time. I guess the same time but different date. We're on Tuesdays now. Because today
Wednesday.
Wednesdays instead of Thursdays for the work meeting. And so we have two members absent. Just for the record, April, would you say your name?
April McKeon.
Val?
Valerie Wins.
And Paul Louis. And the mayor's absent, so I'm going to be Mayor Pro Tem. And Misty is under the weather, so she will not be here tonight. And I initially thought this would be about an hour or less because we've got a pretty short agenda. We've seen some of the items before. However, we were informed that we may need a closed session, and so when that time comes, we might have to recess until Heath gets here.
Excuse me, Paul, did you call the meeting to order?
Oh,
I don't think you did.
I hereby call the meeting to order. Thank you, Val. First item is ordinance and resolution for excess water usage charge, public hearing and vote to be held at the regular meeting on Tuesday, the 21st. Now that I put my glasses on, I can read the agenda. So, we will be having a public hearing, and I did meet with the mayor on Friday. I haven't talked to her about any agenda items today or yesterday and the day before, but on Friday I met with her just briefly on a couple of these items. And what we discussed is this ordinance and resolution, and I assisted her a little bit in kind of drafting it. Last December, we passed the excess water usage charge for it was $10 charge for connections after January 1st, 2023. So we need to do an excess water usage charge for those connections before January 1st, 2023, and that's the $1 charge. And I think the mayor put up on SharePoint both ordinances, the ordinance and resolution. Is there any questions or discussion on that?
So now that you mentioned that we already did the one for the $10 for 1,000 gallon
Yes.
excess charge, this resolution has both of those charges in it.
But yes, because we're doing we're doing the ordinance for the $1, and then and then the resolution is our fee resolution, so the fee will include both,
Okay.
both charges there.
Okay. And it looks as if they have the correct values for the gallons per month. I went through and looked at that.
Yeah,
And I feel like we've discussed this, before, so
We did.
I don't know what else there is to say.
Sure.
with that, then we'll move on to item 2, which will be purchase the truck for public works and parks. And the last that I had heard, Crystal, is this still gonna be on the agenda?
Yes,
Okay,
this is, I believe the, Public Works Department has, found a truck for parks.
yeah, we discussed it last,
Yeah, well, they were looking for one when we last discussed it, I believe they found one.
They
It's
found
a very
one.
Great deal,
a
low
Silverado.
mileage, something
Yeah.
that's gonna be very good, for parks, and so, I believe this is just something that Gene wanted to run by and see if you guys will approve it, and
Yeah, initially, when we were there, the concern was, could they hold it until the 21st? And that's what my question was, is I was wondering if this was still on the agenda. And so Parks was gonna get a hold of them and say, can you hold it to the 21st? Otherwise, Gene would have been calling us
Right.
to get approval for it. This is, a 2023 Silverado, has 13,776 miles, I believe, on it.
Yeah,
And, and I can't remember how much they wanted for it.
I was in the twenties, I think it's more like 20,000
Yes,
to 22.
so do we have I didn't see anything in that.
I can, let me ask,
It sounds like a score, it sounds like a good find.
It did, because I looked at, it wasn't, I think it was like 23,000, but when I looked at it, I think they were going brand new for 40,000. When I just did a quick Google search the other day, I didn't do Kelly Blue Book, but they went down and looked at the vehicle. There appears to have been some damage on the truck by the front door. But other than that, it looked like it was in pretty good shape.
Is it purchased from a private party or?
When I looked through the car,
from the dealership. It's from a dealership.
it's from a dealership, yeah, well, we're buying it from the dealership, but the dealership bought it from, what appeared to be a rental car place. When you start to look at all the Carfax stuff on there.
Right, and when you say damaged, how damaged is it?
It wasn't, it didn't look like it had been repaired, and it just looked like minor damage on
Okay,
it.
was it like a bashed in door?
No,
Okay.
no, and it looked like they fixed it.
Okay,
Is that vehicle still under any warranties? Pretty well.
Yes, there are several warranties that will continue on. I wish I had the Carfax, information. I thought we would have put it up on SharePoint. And so I'll text the mayor to say, let's get that up on SharePoint before the meeting, the Carfax.
See if I can find it actually on. Sent, Nick a text message, to see if he would respond to the price of the truck.
So if there's not any other questions, we'll move on and Crystal can give us the value of the asking price for the car when she hears back from Nick. Any other things on the purchase of the truck?
no,
Karen, the next item is ordinance for city manager. And the mayor wanted to, proceed and move on with the decision on the city manager decision. And if it's approved on Tuesday, then she wants us to proceed with preparing and meeting to get all the hiring procedures in place. So the first item is to decide whether we want to proceed with the city manager. I ended up drafting, because the mayor was going around trying to get all the appointments for the land use board, items, that we're going to be dealing with on Friday and Monday. So I told her I'd just put a draft up there and try to get everything in it that we had talked about. A couple things in, this was a combination of St. George, Torkerville's, Springdale's ordinances, plus a couple other ordinances out of state. Couple notes that I'll point out in it. It creates, the office of town manager, and that will be placed in a municipal code at 2.06. I put on the town manager must reside within 60 minutes travel time to Virgin. That's something that may create some discussion. One of the items going down and under 2.0606 on the term of office. I saw that St. George had this provision in there that the town manager shall not be removed from office other than for misconduct in office during or within a period of 90 days next succeeding any general municipal election held where you have a member of the town council elected. And I like that because it creates some stability,
Yes.
especially if people campaign.
Mhm.
One thing I would suggest is that we consider maybe creating a little bit of longer period than 90 days.
Mhm.
That I put 90 days in for St. George, because put that in because that's what St. George put in. But when you think about it, elections in November. So really, by the time you get to the 90 days, it's gonna be middle of February,
Which is only
which,
a few weeks after
yeah.
swearing in a new
So-
council.
My thought would be either 6 months or 120 days. I'd really say 6 months because
Really?
you could still get rid of them for misconduct. The city manager and the town can agree that he could resign. And that could be voluntary. And more than likely, that gives the city manager some, and the town some stability if they want it. And if the city manager sees the writing on the wall, he's gonna negotiate with the town and leave probably before that, or at least stay there long enough for him to move on.
Mhm.
But I would say anywhere between 120 days to 6 months. Something to think about.
Except that, in the second paragraph, you have that the town manager can't resign less than 60 days written notice, so that kind of adds into that.
Well, the next sentence though says the town manager and the town may mutually agree in writing to terminate the services of the town manager with less than 60 days written notice.
Okay.
Yeah. So the town manager has to provide us 60 days.
Right, I understand, but my point is, I don't think we need to go to 180 days, I think 120 is plenty,
Okay.
because you still have the time, not suggesting that we're mutually gonna agree that this person needs to leave. If this person decides to leave, they can't for an additional 60 days. Am I saying that right? Do you know?
Oh, so in other words, if he sees the writing on the election wall, he says, you know, I got 90 days or 120 days, he cannot leave. If he decides I'm gonna leave, he's gotta give us 60 days.
Exactly.
Or he's gotta give us 60, if everything's going well, but it gets,
The
somebody
better
says,
offer.
gets a better offer, he still has to give us 60 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the 100 or the 90 days in this and the 60 days are mutually exclusive, right? You don't have to say 90 days and then 60 days.
No,
Okay.
no, because the 60 days is for the town manager wanting to leave. And then, let's say if we change it to 120 days,
Mhm.
that's for the town council to
Remove
terminate them unless it's for misconduct.
Mhm.
Uh,
So the reason towns put this in, I suppose, is because maybe it happens frequently that a town manager, when a new group is elected, is fired.
yeah,
Does that
I've never
happen?
heard of that.
Okay.
I find, in most towns that I know of, the town manager is there for years, decades.
the average life of a town manager is 3 to 7 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that
And,
interesting?
and I've even seen communities where it becomes an election issue.
Oh,
That says, hey, you know, we don't think the town's being run to serve
right.
the people, we're gonna get elected and get rid of the town manager.
Mm.
And it's like getting rid of the CEO.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
But you're right, lot of towns, if you
They
get a
stay a
town
long
manager,
time.
they can't stay a long
Yeah.
time, and that's what you hope for.
Sure.
And I've served under some town managers that have been there for 10, 15 years, other ones that have been there 5, and some that have been there less than 5. And so it all depends on the town manager and what's going on in the community at that time. And let's see what else to point out. The other thing I put in there, I went through and listed the powers and duties. One of the things I put in there is, and I also put in the SharePoint, is the ICMA Code of Ethics. And I put that as the #1 power and duty because I think it's important to put ethicals up higher. A lot of places, so we can put it in there, powers and duties. I saw that in another example of an ordinance, that he's got to comply with ICMA Code of Ethics and all state ethics requirements. I like that. I like it as #1 because it says we're going to put emphasis on you being an ethical town manager. And then other than that, and then the final was acting town manager, which is what the mayor wanted. Because she wanted to say if the town manager is unable to act, then the mayor should take the powers back and act, because essentially we're taking the mayor's powers, except for a few, and transferring them to the town manager.
Right.
And so as you see here, I just put, and it applies to whether you got a disaster or the disability or death of the town manager, or even if the town manager is absent. So the mayor would be the #1. Then if the mayor's not around, then the mayor pro tem, and then the most senior council member is #3 in that order of succession. And that's what I had.
What about responsibilities over contracted employees? I didn't see anything. Is that considered just an employee, or is that?
No, contracted employees it's a contract, it's an independent contract.
Okay, so the town manager would not be responsibility.
Well, it wouldn't be under employees, but the town manager would be under the organization and management of the executive affairs of the town. So he, in running the town manager would be overseeing that contract.
Okay. You don't think you need to list that, separately? Just,
#6.
let's see. Oh, contract.
Yeah.
License, okay.
But it's a good point.
All right, yeah, I like what I read. I didn't realize that you had prepared it, but, I didn't really have any issues with any of it. And I don't have any problem extending that 90-day period to either 120 days or 180 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So so what I can do is change that between now and then, short 20 days, and that way it's there. And I told Gene, when we got the calls quickly about he coming here today, I said, I plan to send this to Heath, for his review.
Great,
He won't be at the next meeting,
that's what I heard.
but I want to send this, so I'll make that change, and then I will send it to him and ask him to provide us his comments.
Great.
And since he's gonna be working, with the town manager, he's gonna want to have some say in this, and I think he should have some say. And so I'll send it to him. And next week, I have an eye doctor's appointment, so I won't be able to read much. probably.
We can read to you.
If things go well with the eye doctor, then I won't, be able to read that. So if Dr. May's watching, Dr. May, I hope, my eyes are dilated. All right, then the other thing to think about is before the next February meeting, is whether we should have a special meeting. What days to have a special meeting on. I wish the mayor was here, so maybe we'll talk about it on Tuesday. But start thinking about between now and the next work session, we can have just one session to create the hiring procedure. And probably that would require the mayor, one of us, to look at some type of job description also and get it ready.
And requirements for the position, I would assume, requirements.
Yeah, requirements, and keep in mind, yeah, the more specific requirements.
Right.
Because if you look at B, so it'll be 2.06.04 B, the town manager shall be selected without regard to political considerations. I think that was out of St. George, based on the candidate's abilities, integrity, education, and prior experience related to the duties of the office, including but not limited to abilities, experience, and education, and the accepted competencies and practices of local government management. So, yes, but you're talking about more specific.
Right.
requirements. Yes.
I mean, you wouldn't ordain those, but you need to,
Yeah, you want to list what the minimum hiring requirements are in your job.
Right.
And the other thing is discussing, I guess, is who we send that out to and how far do we get through it. And I may, if I can get a hold of, some individuals in Bozeman, Montana, maybe they can send me their hiring of town managers.
Great.
But they went through so many recently, I don't know where they are in that process, and if they have written it down in any format. But maybe that'll help us all try to find something on that.
You would think maybe St. George or Tucker.
St. George, yeah, more likely St. George, yeah, you wanna look at, yeah, more. So that's a good place to look to. Nothing else on ordinance for town manager? Can, the mayor gave us the organizational chart. She wants to try to put it on the consent agenda, and hopefully she's made all the changes that we discussed about in our previous meeting. Anybody can take a look at that.
yeah, this stuff I'm looking at, I think includes all the changes.
I want to get to it, because
I don't
I
see
even
anything.
caught someone at this meeting with her. And I don't know if she got close in here or not. Let me look here. Um, I suggested that she put cemetery under public works.
It's there.
It's there, okay, she did get it in, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, and I missed that.
In the box below.
Okay, yeah, I see it now. Yeah, so hopefully she's got all our changes. If not, let her know what changes need to be there. Any objection to it going on the consent agenda?
No. No,
April?
no.
Any other discussion?
Mhm.
April?
No.
This is easier with 3 people. Next item will be the sign ordinance. Final review will be voted on at our regular meeting. And we discussed this, I don't know how many times.
Ad nauseam.
Yeah. Good luck, return. Any other discussion?
So the only thing I was curious about is there were some items that I couldn't find any definitions for, but originally the definitions were attached to this ordinance.
Yes.
And then they got
They're not.
removed.
Oh, they're not in here, huh?
And so there was a couple of definitions, for example, I'll just tell you one that was in setbacks, they were talking about the clear view triangle and clear view area, and I don't know what that is, and I'm wondering if it was in the definitions, but we don't have those definitions to look at that I know
We do when that originally came up to us.
of. I wonder if they changed anything, or, I mean,
I'm
those are
wondering,
the definitions that were.
Darlene's online, she said, if you
Oh.
guys have any questions, you
Yeah.
can chime in, I can allow her to talk, just let me know.
Yeah.
that, she
So,
could answer that question.
April's question is there any changes in the definitions from when they first provided it to us?
Let me just get her on.
And where can we find those definitions?
I'm checking the planning and zoning.
Darlene, are you there?
I am here. No changes in the definitions, and Crystal, I think I emailed you those definitions to put in the SharePoint. And I'm sure you would have done that if you received it, but did you receive it?
It's been a crazy.
So we'll get them in the SharePoint before the next meeting.
Okay,
But-
so just a
yeah.
couple of things, I think it would be good if we had a couple of items that I didn't understand exactly what they were in the definition, so. And possibly they are, and then I guess we need to change the ordinance number. Or,
Yeah, that will get changed,
okay,
And there's a couple changes that, at least on this ordinance, that we've talked about before, and Heath agreed with, and that's like on page 11, when
if you guys wanna go ahead, I just transferred it over to a different,
Okay.
from one file to a different file, I just put it in your work file, the definitions.
okay.
It was just in a different file, Darlene.
there was one other thing, and under additional signs, it's, 52.8.1, and it is number 3. And the last, and 5 on that, it was talking about the logo in Virgin Town Welcome as defined in this chapter, and I'm not sure if that's in the definitions also, or if there was something that would be talked about in this particular chapter.
What that would be is, this is Darlene, is a sign, at the beginning of our city border that would welcome people and may also include some of those items.
So I'm not sure I understand. Say that again, Darlene, sorry.
So at the entrances to Virgin, you
Yes,
know, some cities have like a welcome sign. And we have one on the west end. But some are arranged a little differently that allow if a business would like to have a mention on that sign, they can be mentioned on that sign.
oh, I see, okay, I understand now. Okay,
Anything else?
no.
Well,
Mm-mm.
the only thing I have is on page 11, so it would have been 52 point, the section before that, 10.
That's non-conforming.
Yeah, 52.9.9, but then it goes at the top of page 11 where it's blank, and this is, he was in concurrence with me, and, at each of the meetings, I've always mentioned it, we need to delete, when, third line up from the paragraph, first paragraph that started up there, where it says has been erected after, and delete, first publication, date of consideration of this, and just insert erected after the effective date of this ordinance.
Does that negate then, the pending legislation portion of,
No,
okay,
no. No, sure, because the ordinance is still going, all we're doing is doing the effective date
okay,
of abatement. And.
okay, got it.
And then we're doing the same with non-conforming signs. It says on 52.10.1, that is physically in existence on the, and then where it says first adopted date, you know, you delete that same thing and just insert effective, the existence on the effective date of this ordinance.
Mhm.
And then it also at the 52.10.3, we did it again, and have elapsed from the effective date of this ordinance. Period. So those are the three areas that we just need some cleaning up. It's not really too critical. And I think as I recall, everybody agreed as far as 52.12, they were thinking option one for the penalties.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
That's the lowest one, the $750, is that right?
Yes.
in no jail time.
Yeah.
And then and then we'll end up starting with what I call the Misty World. Too bad she wasn't here for me to her credit. But when we have the meeting and we're gonna be going over items that are before the planning, that were before the planning commission. We will not be taking testimony because the idea is we want people to show up to the planning commission and provide their input. And so that may become, and that's why I'm mentioning it tonight for individuals. They can still submit stuff in writing. However, there won't be any other testimony taken because public hearing is already been held. In fact, there's been 3 public
Exactly,
hearings on this.
exactly.
So there's been plenty of time for individuals to speak.
And I do know that Darlene has talked to individuals and used their input to make changes to the sizes of things, et cetera. So, that their input has been taken into consideration for this ordinance.
Okay, good. Any other discussion?
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, this has been on our, how many times?
I think they did a good job.
I think that's about a year.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job in this. I spent a lot of time and effort on it.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Crystal, I assume we're doing or Darlene, if she's still on, we're doing the ordinance to remove lodging and gas station from commercial zones. Was that passed last night?
It was, it was, 3-2
Yeah. And
for approval.
who were the 2 opposed?
I believe it was Cameron, correct me if I'm incorrect, Crystal, and, Larry.
This was what was this one again?
Item number
I have
6,
the minutes.
ordinance to remove lodging and gas stations from commercial zone. And so it was a recommendation for approval?
Yes, and I will have my summary sheet to you Monday,
Okay.
if not sooner.
We don't have the ordinance in front of us, but any questions?
No, and I watched the meeting last night and Cameron and Larry said no, so
Okay.
that's how I remember.
Any questions?
No.
Is the meeting ready to look at, has it been posted yet, Crystal?
No,
No.
I was in the meeting almost all day today.
Oh, that's right. You're glad on that, yeah.
Well, I was in a meeting with Jean for, like about 3 hours today, so I didn't get much done.
That's fine. I'm not gonna look at it until this weekend anyway, so, you know, just let me know if you don't get it posted by Friday, so.
Okay,
I just,
I'll get it posted tomorrow.
I'm busy doing different, plumbing work, digging ditches until Sunday.
Well, that's exciting.
Ew.
Then I don't know anything about item 7, but the sheriff's gonna come and speak about the potential sheriff substation inside the new town hall.
I think that's for informational purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he's doing
at
it,
5:30.
he's coming early, he's doing a Q&A.
Great.
And before he does his Q&A, just so you guys are aware, we're gonna have a land, authority meeting just before he starts his Q&A.
Oh, so we'll have one on around at 5.
No, it's gonna be like 5:30, like,
5, okay.
because it's gonna be really quick, it shouldn't be more than,
Okay.
5 minutes. So,
Since we'll be busy having our meeting on Monday and Friday.
yeah, so your Monday and Friday for the,
That will be the action item for.
yeah, but we're gonna have a land,
A joint meeting,
land use authority meeting.
land authority, use authority.
Yeah, land use authority meeting, that will be at 5:30 or 5:20, I guess I'm gonna say, okay, 5:20, is what time it's gonna be, so. Can everybody make that?
Mhm.
And it's just gonna be to appoint
The contract.
the contractor.
Okay.
So it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes just to open the meeting, vote on it, close the meeting is all we're doing.
For individual.
But I have to have it separate because it's in 2 different postings, so I have to have a whole separate agenda for it because it's a land use versus a town council meeting. That's why it can be done.
And do we have anybody online besides?
We've had people jumping on and off. Currently, there's only 3.
Okay, just for information purposes for the public, because they're probably wondering what we're talking about. The town council is also a land use authority, and the land use authority is meeting with, the potential bidders for remodel of the church. And we're doing that on Friday and Monday, and they will be providing us their bids and their, what they see needs to be done with the old church.
And it'll be a Q&A for us
It'll be
also.
Q&A for us. It's gonna be noticed, so it should be noticed, but for those people that are watching the program, what are they talking about? So,
Well, and also I think that the mayor had sent out in the newsletter.
Yeah.
A course of action, because we're a government body, of how this had to happen, but she did check the code and discovered that because we have the land use authority, that we don't have to go through the steps that we thought we had to initially.
correct. That's good summation.
Thank you.
So I don't need to.
Well, it might be confusing for people
Yeah.
who read the newsletter and
That's
they're
true.
saying, well, what are they talking about? I thought we had to go through this process.
Yeah,
And as it turns out, we don't have to go through the process.
and thanks for mentioning that, Val, because I didn't even think about that when I was just
Mhm.
talking about it, that what the newsletter said. Next item, number 8, ordinance repealing the uses chart in, chapter 30.06 from chapter 30, Bulu, and removing all references to such uses. Bulu 32.06, 34.04, 38.04, 40.08, and chapter 48. I assume this is, Darlene, are you still online?
Yes, I am online. What's your question?
This has been passed and is proceeding to us?
The, removing the chart?
Yes.
Yes. And it was passed, same vote.
I'm sorry, what?
Same vote.
Same
Yeah, it
vote?
was a 3 to
3-2?
2.
And that was recommendation of approval.
Correct.
Any questions for Darlene or discussion? April?
Oh, well, so we're removing everything out of this chapter. Oh, there's a couple things we're leaving. All right, I see. No, I don't have any questions.
Valerie?
It will still exist, and there was
Yes.
discussion of having the chart, removed, so there's no confusion as to what our ordinance says. So it's not conflicting. And then, once that chart has been double, triple cross-checked, we are recommending that it be posted on the town website, so it is easily available as a starting point.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, me too. It can get confusing, and I don't know why towns even use that chart. I've seen it in other municipalities, and it can really get out of control.
And it would also be a nice thing to have a handout for someone coming in wanting to do something. The building clerk could hand them the chart for their zone and there's the reference.
I think a lot of communities do that.
It's, the chart's still available, it just doesn't need to be in code.
Right.
And then the confusion of which supersedes what.
Exactly.
Any other discussion?
No,
Don't worry.
no,
And, last item is zone change B-2-1-21-2342 from rural residential zone to commercial zone. And what was the vote on this, 3-2 again?
Yes, but a different 3-2. Kent and I voted no, and the remaining commissioners voted yes with the amendment motioned, and it was approved. I believe 4-1, if I remember correctly, Crystal, that the development agreement include stipulations that would protect light pollution, light trespass, and decibels.
that's correct.
And I think everybody knows which piece of property this is, and because sort of history with it.
Yeah, and you guys don't have it, but the planning and zoning, have it up, and I'll put it up in yours. The attorney sent over a development agreement draft. And that's what she was talking about. They, planning and zoning, a review of that development agreement already, but, it will, I'll put it up in the
Okay,
SharePoint
great.
folder as well. He's already sent it over to Keith Snow.
Oh, Heath is already, okay.
His attorney, sorry, her attorney has sent it over to Keith Snow. So, with Keith and I.
Yeah, Heath is, I would assume. And,
That's what she was talking about, that amendment.
yeah.
So,
This,
you guys haven't seen it yet.
yeah, depending on what we decide on Tuesday, Keith may wanna make some changes to it, so.
Yeah.
So we may end up continuing this
Right.
subject to approval of
Development agreement.
a development agreement, so, but anyway, this is a piece of property that, I'll save my comments concerning it, other than it's gone through approval, denial, and now I think because of the makeup of the current council, it's being brought back through. So we'll make a decision on Tuesday. And I'd like to see what the development agreement says.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that, he may have some changes to it, and whether he gets to, I guess what I was trying to say, I don't know if he's gonna have it reviewed prior to Tuesday or not.
Well, the mayor did say to me today that if we have any questions for him regarding Tuesday,
Yeah.
since he won't be here, we need to ask him tonight. So that would be a good question to ask him, if he'll have time to look at it.
Real quick. I was just texting the mayor, she forgot to put in the SharePoint folder the information for the truck, and she just emailed it to me, and it's now in your SharePoint
Oh, great.
folder, so if you guys wanted to
So
look
what,
at that information.
so what was the amount, do we know?
I don't know, I just heard it push in there, so I haven't even opened it up, so my apologies. There's pictures and everything in there, I just opened it
That's
up.
why it's good to have work sessions. I suppose.
Absolutely.
So it's a 2023 Chevy Silverado, it's $26,554 dollars for
Okay.
13,776 miles on it. It's a single bed or single cab truck.
Where did she put it?
Yeah,
It's in the,
It's on the very bottom.
Very bottom.
yeah, refresh.
I just
Refresh.
heard it and put it in there. Some black and white pictures. It's a white truck, obviously.
Oh, I haven't seen the picture, so,
Yeah, just scroll down and you can see.
yeah, I can send them out, but I think.
Talks about that damage that you were talking about a little bit. There's the Carfax that's in there, so you guys can review that as well.
Oh, it's a Will Meyer, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it may, if it was a rental car, it probably have some hard ones.
Yeah, that's good.
I guess our Parks Department went down and looked at it, and he said it might have been a U-Haul truck.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
Yeah.
And, that could be hard miles too, depending on what they're hauling.
But not bad for a
It
here,
looks nice.
for a parks, I mean, we're using it for parks, so.
Right. Any other discussion on that particular item?
Nope.
Okay, now we just wait for Heath. And I do have a handout to look at, and I don't want to go in a closed meeting until Heath comes.
Should we have a recess?
That's what I was thinking, I'm gonna recess, so the public online watching, that's what my hesitation was. I wanna give them a time that if they decide that they wanna turn back on, even though we're gonna be going in a closed session, they can still monitor what that's all about. So I'm gonna recess to 7. And then at that point, we'll, come back on and see where we're at. So we're in recess until 7 p.m.
This just stays recording because I can't really stop it.
Okay, so it's not, we're not public right now?
No, it is, it just stays
Okay.
on.
So people can see us wandering around.
I hear you.
And hear us. I think Keith's gonna hand this out, so.
Oh, great, thank you.
Read it, but. don't say
Paul,
anything.
I'm going to be leaving now.
Yeah, that's
Thanks,
fine.
Charlene.
Thank you, Charlie, for
I
dark.
want this one back, I just want.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was gonna tell you. It's the local building authority and not land use authority.
Right.
I know.
Thank you for this, Larry. Thank you, Crystal.
We have 7 o'clock. Back on. For the public, we're still waiting for our town attorney to come aboard. I'll do another recess till 7:05. We'll be in recess at 5 hours. Introductions.
I would make it 10 after, because technically it's 7:03.
7:03. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Till 7:10. Or recess till 7:10.
Do you guys want to ask him before he gets here, your questions first before we would go into closed session?
Do what?
Asking your questions first before we go into a closed
If there's
session.
any
Yeah.
questions for him,
Yeah,
thank you.
just so I don't have to stop the recording and
Mhm.
try to get back on, it makes it a lot easier.
Hold up a Carfax report on this truck. Do you want me to send it to you guys?
Yeah, it's in the file.
Oh, it is, okay. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm looking at, duh. And it's a good deal.
What did the telephone book say?
27.
27.
Change, yeah, so even if you can get, you know, thousand.
Yeah.
Not bad out there tonight, it's not very cold.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 60 tomorrow, I can't wait. So it is 7:10. That's a little more.
I think so.
Let me text these two and see what is EPA.
You were skiing today?
I was at a conference
Oh,
today.
that's right, you have the conference.
Yes. And I've
So
been
the public
sitting
out there,
all
we're
day.
still waiting for Heath to show up. So we're back from recess, but we're still waiting for Heath to show up.
We need to get more snow out there, though.
Yeah, are they still making or no?
I think they're probably still making snow, but it's not the same.
It's just so dry and stuff, oh my gosh.
He said he won't be able to be here now at 8:30.
What's that?
We're not staying.
Yeah,
We're not
He
staying.
said what?
He just texted me and said I won't be able to be there till 8:30.
We'll have to do it different.
No. I will, yeah, Heath won't be able to make it till 8:30. If he wants a meeting, we'll have to either schedule a special meeting or he can meet with us on Friday.
Hold on, he's texting something, so hold on.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
Let me see what else he
is that
said.
something that can be done on Zoom?
With him? Yeah, we can have a closed meeting on Zoom.
Yeah,
We can.
we can, we'll just make sure we have to comply with all the requirements.
Mhm.
Cause you'd have to record it, have to individually take votes.
He said, I might be able to, hold on, let me text him. He might be able to call us. He said you could call. Do you want to end this and go into a closed session real quick? He's gonna call me.
Is he gonna call us and we'll just do it in full
Yeah.
session here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you wanna go, please?
We're back, from recess, we've been back for 5 minutes. The attorney is gonna call in, and we're gonna enter into a closed session. Closed session is for litigation, and we need a vote, from the members as to whether we should go into closed session via, each individual. April?
Do we need to make?
Oh, we need to make a motion first, yes.
Oh.
I'll make a motion that we enter into closed session for the purpose of litigation.
Held at,
They will be held here at the old church, old church in Virgin, Utah.
Do we have to close the work meeting? Do we have to close?
No.
close the meeting.
No, because we enter back into the meeting
Right.
afterwards, so we're just,
Oh, okay.
we're entering into a closed meeting. so-
Aye.
Well,
Oh,
need a second.
I'll second it.
So
Aye.
we have a motion and a second, April,
Aye.
Val,
Yes.
and my vote, Paul Louis, aye. At this time, it is, 7:18, what you got? And we will enter into closed meeting, so
We go ahead and end this.